Welcome back to In Your Dreams. Since it's been a couple of weeks since the last video, here's a quick refresher on what we discussed. Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung both had ideas about what our dreams mean. Freud believed dreams express feelings or thoughts we would feel bad about acknowledging, whereas Jung believed dreams speak in a language of images in order to reveal something about ourselves. I hope by now you are intrigued by these two great leaders and their dreams, as well as your own. Today I want to try to pull together Jung's ideas about dreams being made up of characters in a play, and how they describe progressively deepening layers of unconscious thought. Jung understands these characters, which appear in your dreams, as known and unknown aspects of your personality. He calls these characters complexes. You can think of them as constellations of associations clustered around a common theme. For example, all of your thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and memories about authority create your authority complex. An authority complex in this context doesn't mean you necessarily have negative perception of authority, just that your relationship to it is, well, complex. You can have complexes about almost anything. So the characters in your dreams portray parts of your personality you may or may not be fully aware of. The plot of the dream shows you how these parts of your mind interact with each other and with the people in your life. Jung believed there were universal associations and meanings portrayed in dreams, which he called archetypes. All of the archetypes make up the collective unconscious. Archetypes are a kind of psychic template composed of thematically similar images. They are like the DNA of the collective unconscious. Individuals recognize similar archetypes, but can take away different meanings. One analogy is to the human body. We each have a heart, lungs, and a skeleton that develop in generally the same pattern, yet our bodies contain individual differences that make each of us unique. Archetypes become elaborated in individual personalities. For example, king is an archetype with attributes of male, leadership, social status, and it appears in many cultures. The archetype of king becomes constellated into a complex based on individual personal experiences with parental and authority figures. So even if two people have a dream that features the king archetype, it could mean different things depending on their perception of the thing the king represents. Other examples include the great mother, the divine child, the wise old man, the youth, the trickster, the hero, the crone, and on and on. Archetypes repeatedly show up in myth, art, religions, folklore, and stories. If one of these figures appears in your dreams, then the dream may contain personal associations as well as larger cultural, mythological, or religious significance. As we discussed before, Jung believed an individual personality was made up of 4 major complexes: the ego, persona, shadow, and anima or animus. There is a 5th personality complex we did not discuss, an all-encompassing archetype of the self. So all the complexes or characters in the mind comprise one whole called the self. Similarly, the collective unconscious is governed by an overarching archetype also called the self, but with a capital S. Now, I'll warn you that understanding what Jung means by the self can be a bit daunting. Self means 2 things to Jung: the unity of the personality as a whole and the integration of the many levels of the unconscious and conscious mind. This sometimes refers to a larger transpersonal totality. Simply put, the archetypes within the collective unconscious are trying to express themselves through individual personalities. An archetype acts as a magnet, attracting relevant experiences until enough experiences have been collected and the energy from that archetype can break through into consciousness. Once conscious, the archetype can continue to develop and become increasingly refined. The self is constantly striving towards becoming fully realized and is therefore a living, changing entity. Dreams reveal these dynamics and participate in this push towards wholeness in 3 ways. Dreams are compensatory, meaning that the unconscious tries to make the conscious mind aware of its one-sidedness. Dreams make things into their opposite. The psyche is always trying to bring balance to itself. And dreams have a goal. Complexes are rooted in the memory of past experiences, but also an interest in future aspirations. They want to be understood so you can use them to grow into a better person. He calls this push towards development individuation and sees life as a progression towards individuation. This is all complicated, however, it's also inspiring. If you think of the idea that another way we use the word dream is to describe what we hope and wish for and aspire to, then you can think of your dream as helping show you how to aspire to something better in yourself and in the world. Spend a few minutes with one of your dreams and see where it might be giving you a message about what to do more or less of to improve your relationships or to contribute to the social good.